Long ago, in a bustling city called Nineveh, people had grown selfish, unkind, and distant from God's ways. To help guide them back, God chose Jonah, a prophet, to deliver an important message. Go to Nineveh, warn them to change their ways, or face great trouble. But Jonah was afraid. Nineveh's people had a fierce reputation, and he doubted they'd listen. So, instead of obeying, Jonah decided to escape. He boarded a ship heading in the opposite direction, hoping to leave God's mission behind. But could he really outrun God? As the ship sailed farther from shore, a massive storm arose, fierce and wild. The waves grew high and the sailors feared for their lives. They wondered if someone on board had angered the gods. Jonah, knowing he was running from God's command, confessed his story to the crew, admitting that the storm was because of him. Shocked but desperate, the sailors asked Jonah what to do. Jonah advised, "Throw me into the sea and the storm will stop." Would they really follow through with such a drastic choice? Reluctantly, the sailors tossed Jonah overboard. Immediately the storm calmed and the sea became still. Just as Jonah thought he would sink into the ocean depths, something extraordinary happened. A huge fish, bigger than anything Jonah had ever seen, swallowed him whole. Jonah found himself alive in the dark, damp belly of the whale, with only his thoughts and prayers to keep him company. For 3 days and 3 nights, Jonah prayed, asking for forgiveness and promising to fulfill God's mission if given another chance. But would God listen? On the 3rd day, God showed mercy. The whale swam to the shore and gently released Jonah onto the beach. Grateful and humbled, Jonah realized his escape had been pointless. He made his way to Nineveh, and once there, he proclaimed God's message. In 40 days, Nineveh will be overturned if you do not change your ways. Surprisingly, the people listened. They fasted, prayed, and repented, from the poorest to the king himself. Could it be that a single warning could change an entire city? God, seeing their sincere repentance, decided to spare Nineveh. But Jonah, instead of celebrating, felt upset. He had risked everything to deliver this warning, only to see the city spared. He questioned why God would forgive such a place. To teach Jonah a final lesson, God caused a plant to grow and provide Jonah with shade as he rested outside the city, watching and waiting. However, the next day, God sent a worm to eat the plant, and it withered away. Jonah, hot and uncomfortable, complained about the loss of his shade. God gently reminded Jonah that if he could feel sorry for a mere plant, shouldn't he feel compassion for the thousands of people in Nineveh? The story of Jonah teaches us that we can't run from our responsibilities, and that everyone deserves compassion and a chance to change. Sometimes, even when we don't understand God's plan, we can trust that forgiveness and mercy are essential parts of life. If we ever find ourselves doubting, let's remember Jonah's journey and be willing to listen, forgive, and embrace the second chances we're given.